Hi, good morning. Welcome to Almost Market Morning. I'm Jairam. So the big number of US economy was out on Friday. The unemployment data for the month of November. It was mixed. New jobs created came lower at 210,000 against expectation of 550,000. But the unemployment rate fell sharply to 4.2%, which means that the participation rate has been high. Real earnings increase was also less than expected. Uh, but overall, one can say that these numbers will undergo revision because that's what has been seen in both September and October, where hefty upward revisions were seen. So if you average out, I think there has been a healthy increase in the jobs in the US. This combined with the fact that PMIs, both manufacturing and services, came good, will not alter expectations of accelerated taper by the Fed. Uh, Only debate is whether they will double it or whether they will increase it by 10 billion per month or what. That is something that's to be assessed. Also, on the rate hikes, the market is currently discounting two rate hikes in 22. Some are discounting even three rate hikes. Interestingly, Lawrence Summers, the previous Treasury Secretary, has said that it Fed would do well to increase rates 4 times next year in order to restore what he calls as central banks' lost credibility on fighting inflation. Uh, Four interest rate hikes in 2022 is less likely to tip us into recession than 8 in the following year. That is how he's describing this view. So that's just a view. Fed is obviously, but definitely Fed has changed its stance to hawkishness from the earlier transitory description of inflation and all those things. And two-year note jumped 8 basis points, recouping some of the losses it had suffered on Omicron-linked news. Of course, 10-year has been subdued. Also, stock market fell quite a bit on all the three indices, mainly the Nasdaq, which lost more than 2%. But I would put this down more to the expectation of Fed taper and also year-end related profit taking. Uh, there's nothing more to it as of now. Also, the cryptocurrencies also fell quite a bit, including it fell on Saturday also from around 57,000. We had seen a drop up to 43,000, and now it's trading around 48,000. Again, this is pinned down to risk-off sentiment that is probably global markets in the wake of emergence of COVID-19 variant and also hawkishness by the Fed. So there's no major data from Europe last week, except that inflation number, which again came higher than expected, but no change in the stance. Although Lagarde has been frequently coming on air, she's not been changing her tone on the inflation so far. So euro continues to be somewhat subdued, and even GBP. There are some vague talks about Brexit falling through again. So these things keep coming up, but I think that is a bit over imagination. And uh, I see 1.32 offering very good support for GBP. Any break below that will be temporary. Euro, I guess, if in this cycle of dollar strength, it can go up to 1.1050. Before that, we can have some recovery also. But uh, it can also, that recovery can also elude us if the consolidation or the correction happens in terms of time. So overall, dollar is remaining strong. Only Chinese yuan is beating the trend, and it's trading strong, despite vague rumors of RRR cut by China. So that's about the dollar. And on the USD INR, we are seeing slowly demand overtaking the supply, mainly driven by PSU Bank buying as well as oil demand and other importers demand as well. Being a month, and of course, FIs have been steady sellers in the stocks, and we are seeing their demand for the dollar as well. That will keep the rupee on the weaker side. We have a fundamental backdrop of higher trade deficit and possibly much higher CAD for the year. We will be governed by flows. Probably in December, not much, but in the coming quarter, we might see, depending on how the government's divestment program goes, and also other large IPOs like NSE, which is being talked about by the market. So that we'll keep an open eye, but right now the bias in the rupee is for slight weakness. On a clear break of 75.20, I should see 75.55, and that 55.60 area is key for whether we are seeing close to 76 or not. But that, let's take one step at a time, because market doesn't have momentum and it's a very slow market. Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
Thanks, JK. This is Pankaj from Almas. After a non-farm payroll number, US 10-year yield continued to till below 1.40 on that day also and today morning also. And whereas 2-year yield continued to till above 0.60. So that clearly hints that the rate cycle in next calendar year would be there. If market has to price in whether 2 or 3, as of now, market pricing 100% probability of raising 2 hikes. The US 10-year getting a big advantage of a global risk of maybe because of Omicron or non-farm payroll, which was the headline number was much below than the expectations. Even market started pricing rate hikes. US 30-year bond yield is dealing 80 basis below the calendar year high of 2.50. So 30-year US yield bond is dealing at 1.70. That gives an indication that as of now, investors are not very much convinced of a continued long-term growth happening in the US. Even gold got some advantage of a risk off on Friday, and today morning it's higher by $25 at 1785. Thursday we see a low of 1760, and Friday also there was around 1761, 62. Another risk aversion currency, which is JPY, is continue to deal around 113. So not much of a risk taking transactions are being done in USD JPY. Today morning, and crude oil prices moved higher by another $2 per barrel after Saudi announced price hike by 80 cents to all buyers from January delivery. We consume most of our oil from this region. Indian 10-year GSEC yield is in the range of 632 to 638 and closed on Friday at 637. Today GSEC yield may dip by 2-3 basis on the same ground of US bond yields. Treasury is going lower. And we will await for more cues from MPC ongoing meeting, which will start today. And the announcement of decision is on a Wednesday morning. Yeah, that's all from my side. Have a nice day.